Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast, where we talk about everything dog. Q&As with veterinarian professionals, rescue operators, everyday topics. We cover everything dog on this podcast. So make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media on both Instagram and Facebook. Thanks again for listening. Now here's that next episode. Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast. This is your host, Brittany, and today we are joined by John Reider, or should I say John the Bubble Man. Thank you so much, John, for coming on the podcast.
Oh, Brittany, thanks so much for having me. It's awesome. It's a pleasure to be here with you and your listeners.
So this is a fun topic, and it's not all sparkles and butterflies and rainbows in the pet world, but this was a fun one. And when I saw it, I was like, are there really bubbles for dogs? Because I think that is the best thing I have ever heard. I never would have thought of it. So let's start from the beginning. How did you become John the Bubble Man? How did you get into bubbles?
Gosh, it's a long story, but I'm going to give you the short version, okay? So 20 plus years ago, I found a product, a glowing blacklight product. A guy had invented bubbles that glowed under blacklight. And I ordered some. They worked as advertised. They were the coolest thing I ever saw. And it's like, I'm an entrepreneur, and it's like, these things are really crazy. So I started a side hustle, kind of selling those bubbles. Over time, we bought him out, actually bought his patents, trademarks, formulas, got into the bubble business, and started doing bubble events, just advertise these blacklight bubbles. That's how all this craziness started some 20 plus years ago. My wife, Beth, who's a big part of our business here, she and I have been out there bubbling for 2 decades, just making people smile.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you guys were the innovators behind pet bubbles, which are non-toxic, allergen-free. And let's talk a little bit about those bubbles. So the brand is Atomic Bubbles, correct?
Yes, yeah, that is correct. Atomic Bubbles is the company, that's a manufacturing company that makes them. We run under Puppy Love Bubbles and Kitty Love Bubbles. You can Google those or search those, and those are our main pet products right now in the bubble world.
So this is not a podcast for the kitty cat lovers, but I have a question. The kitty bubbles, are they catnip scented? Do they have catnip in them? Tell me about the kitty bubbles.
Yeah, the kitty bubbles, which are amazingly popular, are infused with real Mother Nature. So they actually have 100% real catnip oil in them at a safe ratio, and it's wonderful. Our cat owners love them, give them rave reviews. So yeah, that's a wonderful product. In Puppy Love, we have man-made fragrances that are totally safe, non-toxic. So they contain no food allergens, like our peanut butter bubbles. We have a lot of people say, hey, do these, if I have a peanut allergy or if my dog has an allergy or something, no worries with any of those. So they are man-made, but again, totally safe, allergen-free, and but they smell like the real deal. They're legit, man. If I'm blowing bubbles, it smells like peanut butter and bacon. There's no doubt.
And those are the dog scents, right? It's peanut butter, bacon. Are there any other ones?
Yeah, so peanut butter and bacon is what we started with. Those are our flagship. And then this year at Global, we're going to kind of launch our birthday cake scented, pumpkin, and apple pie. So those are the other 3 scents we have for our puppies out there.
Okay. So what makes these bubbles different from just like traditional bubbles you would buy at, a big box store? Like is there something special you did to make them safer for dogs?
Well, I think what we did was we've been manufacturing bubbles for over 20 years. So we have a lot of experience in manufacturing a high quality bubble product, and they're awesome. Then what we did was we took that formula and looked at, hey, what's the safest raw ingredients we can use. 95% of our formulation is water, so we only have 5%, a minute amount of some raw materials that actually make a bubble. Mm-hmm. We've chosen cosmetic grade products and just high quality U.S. origin raw materials just to blend it in a way that they're totally safe. And then we went the extra mile to get toy certifications for them. So Consumer Product Safety Commission has a cert called ASTM, and that's the product safe enough to be put into a crib with an infant. So we carry that certification, which makes people feel really, really good about the product. And then we have the safety data sheets that just ensure that there's nothing harmful in them to pets, humans, and or the environment. We have a totally safe product.
Yeah, so I have some that I plan on using. Number one, for one of our dogs is about to turn 15. And so I plan on doing something. I don't know what that's going to look like yet. And then I work with a few nonprofits that do rescue work, and we have rescue events. Some of our events are bigger than others. We have a lot of kids that come. I think I'm going to take the bubbles there to kind of have fun with the kids and the dogs. And curious if you've heard from some of the people who have purchased them, like what did they use them for? Or has anyone given you any good stories?
We receive tons of feedback and wonderful reviews. People have been very good to us, but I think it's because it's a good product. People are tough when it comes to reviews. So if you have good reviews, I think you've earned them.
Yeah.
So what we found most recently is people have been using them for engagement and for exercise. So, I'm a bubble guy. I got into the bubble business because I like to make people smile, right? I think the byproduct of this product with the pets is not only is it fun for both the pet and the owner, but it gets those dogs running again. Maybe those older dogs, maybe those dogs that have just kind of become a little bit chill on, the normal let's play fetch toy.
Right.
And we've gotten a lot of good feedback that says, wow, I actually have to hide the bottle, John, because my dog gets so excited when I walk by it because he thinks we're going to go in the backyard and play. And that really makes me feel good. I mean, it's not, again, that wasn't our original intention, was for health and well-being. But what we're finding is that it's a natural when it comes to that. So people are finding that it's just a great way to interact with the dog. We're also finding, like in the older age groups, it's a great way for them to still stay engaged with their dogs.
Right.
It's low impact. You don't have to throw anything. You don't have to worry about tripping over toys that have been there. Everybody knows how to blow a bubble, and whether you're just sitting in a chair on your porch or patio, everybody can do it and get interactive with those pets. I think that's the coolest thing that we found people using them for. It's just getting out there and moving with their animal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's available to a large audience. So ages 5 to 95 could engage. I mean, even if you have a younger child that you're supervising, making sure they're not drinking them, of course, but they could easily be on the porch just kind of blowing bubbles. You're not worrying about them running through the yard, stepping in poop, and they stay in that line of sight while you're cooking dinner or whatever. So yeah, and I could see this even being fun at different events, like where, we take therapy dogs to nursing homes and stuff, because we can't have the dogs run down the hallway, but we could have them kind of just chase the bubbles right there. So I do think this is such a accessible product that, I mean, no one else has thought of it. I mean, it's even when I saw it, I was like, bubbles for dogs? Like, never in my wildest dreams, but I love it.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of great ones there that I didn't even think of. With the elders here, and if you're going to do some dog therapy, or you're going to get in there and just bring the dogs into the retirement homes and stuff. What
Right.
a great way for them to interact. Let them blow the bubbles. And I never even thought of it. Ideas just keep coming and coming. It is a very versatile product. You have to just use a little imagination, and the bubbles can be used in bubble guns and in bubble machines too. So
Okay.
if you don't, if you want more output, or like for a little kiddo, if they're having trouble with blowing the bubbles,
Hmm.
they'll work in any bubble toy or bubble machine as well too. So that
Awesome.
opens up a whole myriad of things.
Right. Where can people find the bubbles at?
They can find them on our website, which is atomicbubbles.com. They can find them out on all the major e-commerce sites as well. So if you go online, type in pet bubbles, dog bubbles, puppy love, or kitty love bubbles, we'll pop up. We'll pop up all over the place. So yeah, they're easily found. Right now we're trying to get them into more brick and mortars. We're working, just joined up with Indie Pet, which represents all the independent pet shops across the country, about 1,500 stores. So we're trying to get into local communities and stuff in brick and mortar, so people will go in and actually buy off the shelf. So we're working really hard at that this season, just because some people still like to shop, and we love to support the locals as well. And they've been really good to us here. So yeah, we're going to try to get them into people's backyards sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, John, for sharing this with us. I know the listeners are going to be excited to hear about this. So anyone listening, make sure you go to that Atomic Bubbles website, get your hands on some bacon and peanut butter bubbles and the future flavors coming out. So thank you, John.
Thank you so much, Brittany. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to the Canine Culture Podcast. Please make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media. If you have any recommendations, any topics that you'd like to hear, if you know of any guests that would be good for the show, or if you yourself want to be a guest, please reach out to us. Send us an email at canineculturepodcast@gmail.com, or send us a direct message on social media. Thank you for listening, and please share this with any of your dog-loving friends.